Well, here we are. It's Friday afternoon. Good epidemic, just down a little bit. That's our royalty-free music. Here's a secret magazine. Can you see it? Holds 22 shots. The bullets travel at 2,300 feet per second. That's a half a mile in a second. Mach 2. Whew, can you imagine? Breaks the sound barrier right out of the barrel of the gun. Makes a little extra bang for the buck. You looking forward to going to the range with that Smith & Wesson 5.7 28 millimeter. Yep. Let's just 28 millimeter. Just happen to have a metric thing here. Let's, maybe the shell is 28 millimeter. Yeah, the shell is 28 millimeter. And the bullet is 5.7 in diameter. It's a small bullet. Smaller than the 9 millimeter, because it's not 9 millimeters. It's 5.7, which is smaller, but it goes really fast. As a matter of fact, I got to put this blue tip on it. Or else it would be armor piercing, and that would be, you know what a sick bird is? Does anyone know what a sick bird is? It's an illegal. Well, never mind. Okay, let's see what's going on in the world. Get out of that. Go this way. There you go. Now you see. Oops. Oopsie. Sorry. Let's get rid of this. The next. There you go. Let me change this up. There we go. So now yeah, you see that going on. It's the best sports cars you can buy today. You know, they're probably what we used to call spaghetti cars. You know, Linguini and Maserati and all those Lamborghini. Doesn't that sound like spaghetti to you? It does to me. And our two little boys, when they were little boys, used to get a big kick out of looking for spaghetti cars. And they knew exactly what I meant. Of course, no one else does, but they did, and they still do today. See the massive rogue wave. Yeah, let's see that. That was a huge wave in Southern California, just washed over the beaches. I mean, it was, it was almost like a tsunami. How are we going to find that? Well, it was said it was in the flips. So let's see if we can see. So we're going to page through this. You kind of have to read through this stuff. And this is a really nice picture of that rogue wave. I mean, I saw it on the television, but I have not seen it in my news clips here with Flipboard. How do I say? Rogue. I don't even know if you can do a search on this sucker. The Tesla tsunami. Let's see what that is. Speaking of tsunamis, I mean, that sounds like a spaghetti car again. Tsunami? Look at that. Boing. There's a Tesla truck and a Tesla car, another Tesla car. Stock prices. And I'd be very careful in the stock market. I don't think we have a single share of stock of anything. Nikki Haley vows she would pardon Trump if she's president. That's interesting. I think she'd beat. Oh, here's the wave. Massive wave. Look at these people running. Look at the wave. Isn't that a big one? And when it came over, amazing. Well, it'll be more in the news. But that's the second tsunami thing we've seen. So, I mean, that was pretty impressive. Let's go to. So I usually get hints on what to. So the Model Y. That's the Model Y. Look at those wheels. Very nice. They rotate. So so if this wheel starts spinning at 500 RPM, if it's going 50 miles an hour, so it's going to go this way. And you see the way the blades are. It's going to cause a vacuum inside, underneath the car, and have the air come out this way. So the air will come out of the wheel this way, out. So you can see the blades. Well, when you start spinning those blades, and if the car is rolling forward, this would be rotating counterclockwise. And that would cause air to go this way, out of those wheels. How about that? I bet you didn't know that, huh? That's not the improvements. They smoothed out some of the edges, and they did a smooth little thing here, and they have cameras now up in the like here, looking this way. So anyone sneaking up alongside of you, it'll show up. The computer will notice it and give you an alert. Alert? Oh boy, I need an alert. Does that come in the vodka soda? Alert? All right, it's Friday at 2. You gotta get to 5 before we start playing with the vodka. Anyway, they really need to figure out how to get this car down to some, with their leasing. They need to just eat it with the interest rates. And get their financing down so you could get one of those puppies for $400 a month. They really need to figure out how to do that, or else, they're going to have less penetration, and they want. But they'd sell a lot more cars. Now, they wouldn't make so much money in the finance side, but, one hand feeds the other. And I'm not saying lose money, but get it down to break even, That's my advice. One enterprise can feed the other. Anyway, so they're, by January of 2024, trying to figure out what the hell year is this? 2000 what? It was 1957, 1958, 1959. It's for most of my life, it's been 19 something. Now it's 20, so I have to get used to that. And since we're in the 24th year, 23rd year, you think I'd have it all figured out. But anyway, January of next year, which is only a few days away, since this is we can look down here. Yeah. Oh, gosh, I got this stuff in the way. Let's get rid of this. There we go. You see down here? Look at that, 69.4 inside this room, by the way, because that temperature sensor is in here somewhere. And it's 71.4 outside. How about that? There was a point in time where the temperature inside was the exact same temperature as outside. How cool, how comforting is that? 60% humidity inside, 57% humidity outside. I don't know if you can see those blue numbers. Look real closely. There we go. And my super duper clock thingy there is, see, whoops. There we go. Oh, what did I do here? Oh, whatever I touched, it turned off the sensor for the temperature outside. So some little button back there that I touched that I shouldn't have touched. Mouse that up. All right. It's 2:25 p.m. Friday afternoon, December 29th. We're in the middle of talking about. Oh, there's the temperature sensor. It came back 71.4. All right. Heat wave. They have re-engineered they've tweaked these panels so that it's more aerodynamic, less wind noise. They've done something with the interior. They put like an LED strip along the interior going all the way across. They need to put a hump right by the steering wheel, right in front of the steering wheel, with some important data in it, like the speed and your direction. If you could just put those two things in a little hump right in front of the steering wheel or behind the steering wheel, it would really be quite. And then the screen over here on the side, you could engineer that software so that it could take over most of the screen. Because if I can see those two things here, you know, the only thing I would use a screen for, is the map. And you could put the map in that little screen too, so you keep you on the road where you want to go, and showing fueling stations along the way in case you need to be fueled up with electricity, with kilowatts. Anyway, so that's why that car's there, because they announced they're doing that, and they're doing it in China first. And then they said by mid-year 2024, that's next year in a few days, they're going to put those enhancements into the new Tesla. And my driving a Tesla will be challenged by some other cars. Because I'll be looking, now that I've driven the car for a couple of years, 2.5 years, it wouldn't burn me up inside if we got a different car. I mean, I would like it to be electric because I really like the whole electric thing. And no gas, not being in the gas station for 2.5 years. Do you know how nice that is? Gas stations. I don't like gas stations. They're dangerous. You have this flammable fluid that people are fooling around with, and some jackasses are smoking cigarettes, which is hard to believe. And of course, there's the grimy ones, so it's not like you can park out at them because they'll come over here and shoot your ass. I mean, it's a dangerous world out there. So I'd be careful before I would, go after them verbally in the gas station. Well, they take the nozzle and stick it up your nose and whack you a few times with the nozzle, which wouldn't feel good, you know. Oy, boy. Now you can see that blue card over there. That's my new U card. There's almost a full moon, but there's how it looked outside our balcony. It's not a good picture at all. It's a terrible picture, actually. I have other moon pictures here that are actually good. You have to catch it in the early evening. Look at that coming right up over these buildings. See the moon? And those captures are done. You can see the characteristics of the moon taken with a stupid iPhone. I mean, how crazy is that? The stupid little iPhone. It's not stupid. It's actually a smart little phone. Look at that picture. I mean, that is unbelievable. It's lighting up the bottom part of this cloud that's between the moon and where I'm standing. And you can see surface characteristics of the moon. And this is distinguishable from an iPhone. Jeez. Now this is the same picture, but I zoomed in on it a little bit. And of course I can reverse pinch. You go out with your fingers as opposed to pinch. You go in with your fingers. So if you reverse pinch, look at that moon, baby. Now see the edges. That is a distortion because you don't have a big television lens on there. You got the lens is a stupid little this little guy right here. Whoops. See, I tapped it 3 times and it got the light on. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, it's this This camera right here. There you go, that one. And the electronics for the camera are this way. Okay. That's iPhone technology. So there you go. My moon picture, which is pretty nice. I mean, there's a picture. These are like, it says 9:41 p.m. Tuesday, 9:41 p.m. So, this is 9:50. So this is 9 minutes later. See, it's right around sunset. Sun's behind me. The moon's in front of me. So as the moon comes up, the sun goes down. It's, that's how it goes. You go see Earth is rotating this way. So wait a minute. Sorry. Yeah. So I would have an 1,100-mile-an-hour wind in my face if it wasn't for the fact that the entire atmosphere is revolving around its axis. Okay? The Earth rotates around the orbit of the Sun, but it revolves on its axis simultaneously. So it makes it a little complicated for, an object to go from Earth to, let's say, the moon, because all these parts are moving. They're always like on a wall in a picture of what we look at. But when you get up in a spaceship, that sucker's moving, at 18,000 miles an hour. Let's catch up to it. Anyway, we always see the moon on a picture, flattened up on a wall. But it's actually 237 million miles away, uh, rotating around the Earth. And then the Earth is rotating around the Sun. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of rotating and revolving and stuff. Yeah. So that's why God made computers, so we could figure out what to do about all that if we were to be so bold as to fly in outer space. And Mr. Musk, look at that, see? I can tap on the picture, home, Tuesday, 5:39 p.m. That's when we first noticed it coming up from behind those buildings. I'm looking outside my balcony. We have a 20-foot, 22-foot balcony. One of these kinds of things. But I don't have it all stacked up with plants. I don't have any plants. I have a couple of plants out there. I really should work on the outdoor plant situation. It's looking a little dim right now. I got nice plants on the inside, but I don't have any on the outside. Anyway, so that's the moon. Here's 550. 550. 541. I think that's the beginning of these pictures. Oh, there's 540. 539. So the moon is kind of rising this way. If you can see my finger. So it's really quite spectacular when you can see, these, when you're just in a regular house somewhere and, the sun sets and the moon rises and, all stuff. You really don't see it because you got a whole bunch of trees and you got roofs all over the place and, but when you're in, 8 stories up, 100 feet in the air in this condo kind of thing. These unbelievable scenes come up, all the time. So instead of a full moonrise, it's a half moon, it's a quarter moonrise, you know. So you see a lot of these things, unless it's cloudy, rainy, or whatever. But this was a nice, you even have some, sunset clouds. The sun shining on these clouds as it's setting behind here at 5:41 p.m. The pinkish of the clouds is the sun setting on the other side of the earth. So the people in California, no, actually, the people in the west coast of Florida, Tampa and St. Pete and all that, they're like 30 minutes behind us with the rotation of this earth thing. Remember, the earth is moving, rotating at 1,100 miles an hour this way. So if I stand looking at that moon on my balcony, the whole building is moving at 1,100 miles an hour towards the moon. Okay? That's what makes the moon look like it's moving around, because the earth is moving, revolving towards the moon. So as time goes on, like 24 hours in a day, the circumference of the earth is, 2,300 miles, 23,000 miles. Well, you divide that by 1,100 miles an hour, what do you get? An hour. So the earth is moving towards the moon at 1,100 miles an hour with its rotation. We don't notice it because, all these things are so far away, but if somehow or other there was a little, or if there was something big hanging out there in space, it looked like it's going really fast, like 1,100 miles an hour, which is relatively fast. Yeah, 11, yeah. So this is the side image that I have on a sight for a pistol or a rifle. Put this on a rifle or a pistol. And it has an LED system, so it illuminates this green circle, puts a dot right in the middle. So then when you're aiming at a target or something, a tree, hopefully not a person, you get that right in the sight, and then you squeeze the trigger. Now, these kinds of things, that bullet zooms out of there at 2,400 feet per second. Can you believe it? I mean, wow. The engineering behind this stuff, 2,400 feet per second. 1,100 feet per second is the speed of sound. So 2,400 is more than 2 times the speed of sound. It's Mach 2.1. Go figure, Wow. So do you want a big bullet going slow, or you want a little bullet going real fast? That's the challenge here. So in this particular case, which I can do one of these. Oops. Let's swap. There we go. So now we're looking at a bigger view of Jimmy with his toys. So this is a magazine for a pistol, a Smith & Wesson 5.7. Pretty unique device, but it fires these little bullets. So only 5.7 millimeters across. And the cartridge is 28 millimeters. That's why they call it a 5.7 X 28, if you can see that right on there. 5.7 times 28. The 28 millimeters is the length of the cartridge. And the 5.7 is the gauge of the bullet. A little convention there. We just figured out with our little ruler given to me by, I think, Son Banks. It was a giveaway. Marilyn said, "Hey, do you want one of these?" "Yeah, I'll take two." Well, I got this one and I lost the other one. That's why you get two. Yep, I always grab two if I have a chance. Or more. Anyway, so I don't want to be a pig about it. Now in the news, I've got a bunch of bird pictures here. So this lady has been in the news lately. We can switch back to this view. So you see me over here. And yeah, that's a good idea. Just cover this up. You want to have two. Whoa, what was that? There you go. Oh, it went back to a different view. I was wondering. Whoa. Oh, anyway, so this Taylor Swift is she's quite in the news whenever she allows herself to be seen in public. She's at a Kansas City losing game, so she's and clapping, and probably because her boyfriend dropped the ball. The mistakes they made in that game is like, geez, they gave away 14 points in the first quarter. I mean, they just handed it to them. It was like stupid flip-flop stuff, all of a sudden they're down 14 points. And, and that's scored by the defense, not the offense. Yeah, they tried to catch up, but they just couldn't make up for the first quarter. It was terrible. Whew. I normally don't take notice of something, but this young lady has, this 30-year-old has brought, everyone's all of a sudden interested. But anyway, she has sold $1 billion, billion with a boy, billion. She sold $1 billion worth of tickets in her concerts that she has delivered in 2023. Now that's not all profit because she's got her organization has to arrange for the venue, and they got to pay the venue, and they got to pay for security around the venue, and she has to pay the performers that are with her on stage. She has to pay the musicians that are on stage, and then you got to pay these guys that wire everything up before the venue starts. So you have an organization. It's a business, and you got employees that do things. So once you pay all that, you're probably left with $500 million. So, this young lady is making $500 million a year at least. $500 million, and it's more than that because she's making money off the records and royalties and endorsements that you need a couple of accountants to keep up with all that. And she's floating around, just being a 30-year-old with a lot of security. Look at that owl coming right at us. Woo! Look at that. Eyes straight ahead, baby. Here's another bird picture with a fish in its mouth. Birds love fish. It's kind of this was in 2015, December 25th, Christmas Day, 7 years ago. I got one son there, and I got a wife there. There's Marilyn, and there's Daniel. They were in that picture. And then you got Troy Beatty, and then you've got Murray's. That's Marilyn's brother, and Marilyn's brother's wife. So you got two Murrays, two Wilsons, and a Beatty in that picture. That was, I put on these masks. It was pretty fun. I was taking the pictures, obviously. I'm the picture taker. With a picture taker like Jimmy, and it was taken with an iPhone. That's another thing. Where's that picture? There it is. iPhone picture. 12 million pixels. Yep, 12 million pixels. You can do an awful lot with 12 million pixels. Now, I have another camera that does 45 million pixels, that's a serious amount of pixels. So there was a scene in a movie we saw, and the scene had to do with, does it say the film? It doesn't say there the name of the movie. It's not Mad Max. But there was a whole bunch of Tesla Model 3s. You see, they're not all lined up. They're all crashed into because there was some kind of some person, some entity, you call it whatever you want to, got into the software for the self-driving car. They call it self-driving car. Elon Musk would like to call it a self-driving car, but it isn't quite doing that yet. And so this movie was like, you could see it going into self-driving mode. It was really pretty, I'm sure Elon Musk didn't like that part of the scene. And he's like 50, right? So he's not ancient history, and he's not 20. He's 50, so he's, he kind of like notices things, and if he doesn't notice things, he's got people, and his people will notice things. Yeah. Yep, so we have people. Everybody's got people somewhere. Anyway, so the cars all went into self-driving mode, and they were like aiming for this woman. This woman is like dodging, trying to not get run over by these cars. It was like they were aiming for her. And she, get out of the way, and bam, they go it crashed into the car in front of it. Now, you got a car this way, and you got some cars. They probably wrecked 3 cars. But it looks like a whole, they didn't wreck a lot of cars. And if they needed wrecked cars up in the foreground here, they would probably ship in some wrecked cars instead of wrecking new ones. Who knows? But that's what got my eye on this picture is the Teslas all running into each other. Those one at a time, and it's about every 4 or 5 seconds. Another one would run into self-driving car. Bam! Instead of self-driving, what would that be? Oh, how about slowing down to a stop? But oh no, let's just run right into the back end of another one. No, that was a slam, I think, on self-driving. for some reason. Okay, the Chinese have a new jet. Looks pretty. Looks like it could zoom around pretty good. Anyway, the Chinese were bragging about that jet. They painted it all those kinds of blue colors so you wouldn't be able to see it in the sky. Okay. I don't know. Doesn't look very camouflaged to me. They must have different kind of skies over China. This is ooh, that picture's moving. That's a little. You can see the skin sizzling from the. Just got it out of the oven. I said we got to cut this now because it's too hot and it's going to bring the temperature. See, it started to turn the meat from medium rare to medium well. You see, because that part of the meat is a little on the gray side. But the truth is, with prime meat like this, prime meat, as long as it's not well done and dried out, it doesn't matter. You could have it, this medium well color, and this meat right here would be outstanding to munch on. But I knew we were. They turned the. I wanted to cook it, 4 hours at 200. Brian says, "Oh no, it got to be at 300." I said, "That's an extra 100 degrees." So I just let them set the oven, let them go, sit on the couch and watch the TV. And I said, how about a compromise? We'll do it for 275 degrees, instead of 300. He said, all right. So I turned the oven temperature down, to some lower number because I don't want, we gotta, we're a little late in the this and that, so it didn't get in the oven until 1 o'clock. It was supposed to get in the oven at like 11. So there. This was one of the sides. We had sausage and these beans. And these were not cut like this coming out of a can. These are fresh beans. Like beanstalk beans. Gotta go this way and that way. They all look like this. Yep. And they cut off the tails and they cut off the tips. And they cut them like you see there after they were cooked. And look at that. That is one good looking bean. Wow. And these sausages were outstanding. It was like kielbasa or something. I don't know. I have to ask Marilyn again what the sausage was. But it was yummy, yummy, yummy. This is our Christmas dinner. So you can see, look at it sizzling away. Wee-hoo. Yep. So about every 30 minutes, I'd throw a cup or two, 12 ounces, 16-ounce glass of water. I'd throw that in there, a couple times. I'd set my watch for 30 minutes. I'd come in there and throw in 2 more cups of water because it's steaming like crazy, in the oven, which helps to cook the meat, when you're in that hot, because steam releases an awful lot of calories of heat. When it hits something like this, because that's at 200 degrees, 220 degrees Fahrenheit, and the skin temperature here is like 350 or 300, depending on the temperature of. So the steam will, get as it's surrounding the meat. When the oven door is shut, you get this whole steamy thing going on in there. And you've got a convection oven, so that it's moving the air, the hot air around, and now it's hot, steamy air. So that makes for, a lot of calories get into that meat because of the steam. So I keep feeding that thing, or else you'll have, these veggies down there on the bottom will get, totally toasted. And you got to have that fluid in there because that's what, and the meat dropping, the meat juices, the few juices that drip, a lot of fat stuff that drips, and it drips into that pan. And then when you're ready to eat, you strain that stuff that's in the pan, and that's the jus. You've heard that before, right? Jus sounds like someone sneezing. Well, that's the jus. It's excuse me. It's what's at the bottom of that pan. There you go. Look at it sizzling. It's like a 10-minute little video thing. It just makes it a little more fun to look at your pictures if you got a live view. Oh, there's the selfie. That's as good as I can do. And holding the dog. If that dog doesn't like it, it can eat you alive because got a big jaw. American bulldog, I think they call it on the papers. Show me your papers. Do you have your papers? Oh, there's another of those little videos. Yeah, I move around here. Thank goodness, in living color. Yeah. There's another one without when they're sauteing the vegetables. Yep, that's a little longer video. The meat doesn't require much preparation other than putting salt and pepper on the exterior. There's a Maryland selfie with the headdress, antlers. This is just our dining room table since we weren't eating at it because we went to the boys' house to prepare everything and eat. Yeah, we've got a couple of plants on there. Marilyn put a couple of bows on the plants. She put a ribbon around the fish. Oh, look at that. That's a live view thing. So if you go here. Anyway, that's the roast I had last year. There it is in the pan. That's cooked in the pan. And the au jus is under the beast. Now, I don't have a rack that would be under the. You don't want the meat, an inch into the juice. You want any juices from the meat dropping into the pan. Yeah, so I took a plate, a side plate, turned it upside down, put the meat on top of the upside down round plate. And that's what happened there. That's how it is. Threw a couple of fresh mushrooms all the way around, a couple of things of thyme. Thyme? What time is it? All right, here you go. Medium rare, 130 degrees. That's it. Degrees of doneness for steaks. 130. I wouldn't say 140 for medium. I'd say more like 135. Medium well would be 140. And well done is something that you just don't do. We shouldn't even have well done on there, but to cook a steak well done, most chefs will come back out and say, "Sir, do you really want this well done? Really? Can we do it a little less than well done?" They hate ruining a steak. You got this beautiful piece of meat and you're going to cook it well done. It's like one stage before the crematorium. It's just not there. Oh my God. Oh yeah, we want the prime rib roast well done. No, this is not a turkey. We don't cook it to 160. We cook it to 120 and then get it the hell out of the oven because the outside of that temperature, if you have a 200-degree oven, the middle is 120 and the outside is 200. Well, that heat that's on the outside is going to migrate, to the middle, and it's going to settle at 130 if you do it right. Because you're going to take the meat out of the oven, see, and then the exterior is going to cool down, somewhat. So when that 200-degree exterior is starting to, that heat is moving inside the meat, and it's out of the oven, that's that's how you cook the meat. You have to use your head. And if it's heating up too fast, meaning the outside is coming into the inside too quick, and it's getting, you're 100. I was looking at the thermometer. I said, Daniel, put a thermometer in that sucker. Let's see where we're at. We had one that was, moving all the time. He says, Dad, it's 128. It's 129. I said, Daniel, when it hits 130, we got to start cutting the meat. We got to start cutting it up because otherwise, all this, it's all going to be well done. You can't just leave it sit. So the only way to stop what we're looking at is cut it. You cut it open into the steaks. It's a rib roast, so you cut it, and that's how you stop the cooking. Now you got two end pieces. They're going to be, kind of like on this medium well side, somewhere in here. Anyway, so that was, by the time you're 103, you got it all figured out. from from 30 to 103, it's a big experiment, and you got all these opinions. I said, Daniel, take it out of the oven now. I don't know. There's too many cooks in the kitchen there. Take it out of the oven. So I'm team meat, and I'm glad I'm getting all this help from everybody else. But since I paid for this son of a bitch, I want a vote. Give me a vote. See, here we go. I got it on 1223. 10.5 pounds, $25 a pound. A grand total of $261.77. God forbid we don't have this. They should round it up to. Sir, it's 262. Forget the stupid cents. They should have a little computer in the program. They should just not have pennies. When it gets over $150, I don't want to see pennies. Anyway, USDA Prime Standing Rib Roast. That is the official title for that piece of meat, aka prime rib. Sir, do you want with the ribs in or out? I said, what do you mean in or out? You only got in. Oh no, he cut the. No, I want bone in. I should just for dollars ask for what the price per pound is without the bones, because that means they cut all the way around, you know, and then you're not paying for bones. Just the center. Next time I'm going to ask about that. Then you got to be even a little more cautious about, all this stuff I'm talking about with the watching the temperature of that meat. I said, Daniel, we got to watch the temperature of that meat. I said, you're in charge of watching the thermometer. we got this, we got this big investment here. We don't, you know, you don't, you can't undo it. You can always cook it more, but you cannot uncook it. So you see here on this one, um, I've got two thermometers in two different places. So we can, you know, and they're in there for the duration until you start cutting that meat. Those are in there, and you got this display hanging up on the microwave. Of course, it's got a magnetic, thingy. And when that meat gets 130, start cutting. Start cutting right now. And have your knives, gentlemen, have your knives sharpened. And they did. And we got these great sharpening knives. Do I have any pictures of those? No, this was I need to show you this. Because if you don't have this, you gotta have this. Press that button. Press that button. Touch screen, Here you go. Delivered Wednesday. Hi, Damus. Hi, Damus. Hi, Damus. Honing steel, 12-inch wooden handle, flat knife sharpener. Now, it's not actually flat, it's oval, okay? Because that's how you've got all these microscopic ridges going from this way to that way. This is a moire pattern that is not part of the texture of the knife. Whoops. You really can't see. Let's see if they have a micrograph. But anyway, this is how you. Let's touch this. We get a big picture. There you go. So, oh boy, live screens. Okay, there we go. Here, well, let's watch this guy. There's a little video here. Let's press that button. All right, there he picks it up. It's
p.m.
It's magnetized. Scratching a little bit. I don't understand what that's all about. So there's you can't cut the paper. They're not sharp. See, on top, underneath, on top, underneath. Now piece of paper. So those honing rods, that is the way you sharpen a quality knife. There's no other way of doing it. So you have to learn how to, and you get the flat, because it gives you more of those. Because from top to bottom, they got these grooves along the rod, and if it's oval, you have a little more surface area to run that knife over. Okay, it's a better, and you want 12 inches because you want to be able to plant that thing down and then sharpen your knife. So you plant that down. You put a rubber stopper on the end of that sucker, and this way you can hone your blades, pushing down on the table, and so that's more. It's stationary with some force. So that way you can put force on the blade, because you can't hold it up here in the air and do it now, unless you've got a really, really strong wrist, particularly with a 12-inch honing. See, and 3200 grit rosewood handle. That's what that 3200 grit. Yep, that's it. Carbon steel. Yep. Grit type ultra fine. So it's not often that you find a 3400 grit brushed rod, honing rod. You usually find them 3000, 3400. That's more than 10% finer. So it puts a finer bullet sharpness on the blade. It's got a hardness of HRC 67, which anybody knows that's hard. So that way it actually, sharpens the knife you have in your hand. You want the honing material harder. See, this is how not to sharpen a blade, running it through one of these electric motor thingies. You don't want to do that. That'll ruin the blade. You do it with, whoops, touchscreen, forgot. You do it with these honing rods. Jeez, anybody knows that. It's $45, $43.99. So sue me for $1.01. But it'll really keep your knives really sharp. And the best chefs in the world are known for the knives that they carry. You'll find these chefs, they have all their knives. It's their knives. So people that are in the back of the kitchen, the chefs, when you get up and tile a little bit, they have their own knives. And they're good quality knives. And they have their own sharpening rods. Now, there are guys, there are trucks, like a utility van will drive up to the back end of a kitchen, on a schedule, let's say once a month, and they will provide sharpening services to the kitchen, to all the kitchen people that have, and to the kitchen itself, because the kitchen will have, 100 knives or whatever, so they'll collect the knives, and then they'll give them to the guys in the van, and because it's a mobile thing, and they'll sharpen them there right on site and get all those blades and give them back to the kitchen staff, and they'll put the knives away. But the chefs, they had their own knives rolled up, in a thing like you were packing your knives up to go on a trip. In a car. I don't think you carry those kinds of things in an airplane. I think it would, the security people would have a heart attack. Epidemius, boy, they keep playing their tunes. So, there's nothing. So I want all of you to watch FAU basketball. See? FAU 77-77. It's 1:48 to go. And there's the ball and there's the basket. It went in there. I mean, it went right. It was one of those netters, and it's all net. No, it didn't bounce off the backboard. It didn't bounce. It didn't touch any metal. It went right through. It was all net, and that put them up to 80 to 77, and it caused, a because it was only so. See, it's 148, 147. See, here's 148. Well, 1 second later, it's 147. So it takes a while for those, you know. But these guys are all watching that ball go right through the net. It's unfortunate that the the optics on the lenses, by the time it ends up where you can see it, doesn't you can't really tell it's a basketball, but it is, and it's going right in the basket. I tried to push the button right when it was going in the basket, but it caught it just before. I'd have loved to catch it when it was all net, but then you would hardly, it'd look like a mishmash in the basket there. I put a circle around it, just to tell people, hello, watch the little ball. The little ball is going in the net. It's the first time. Now Arizona is a Big Ten school, and FAU is 10-9-2, so this makes them. It's the first time. It's the first time that Arizona. Oh, let's put it this way: it's the first time Florida Atlantic beat a Big Ten school. And as a season, uh, you know, play team. Because they were scheduled. So it's the first time Arizona lost. To a non. I don't know if it's the first time they've lost, but I know it's the first time Florida Atlantic beat a Big Ten in regular season play. So that's what that's all about. He doesn't have the ball anymore. He's moving pretty quick. See, there's a guy here that jumped up. That's the guy that shot. So it was not only a three-pointer, but he's quite a bit behind the three-point line. And I can't. That's the second shot. Um, where are we on time? Oh, it's over an hour. Okay, we got to go. It is 3:20, and we started out an hour and 9 minutes ago. And um, it's being transmitted into three different um, what do you call them? Three services like Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitter. So this is a trimulcast with all three of those services at the same time. But you can't go over an hour because they'll just cut it off. And we're an hour and 10 minutes. So I better stop. We'll see you for the weekend or Monday for sure. Have a great weekend. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Got to be a Happy New Year. Where's my Happy New Year thing? I know I got it in here somewhere. There it is. Happy New Year 2024. Bye-bye.